All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. Let's catch up with one Roy Sasaka, is the CEO, National Youth Council, on this day where the world marks the Youth Skills Day. Roy, thank you so much for speaking to us. I think we may have lost Roy there. Roy Sasaka is the CEO for National Youth Council. We are calling him back in just a bit to find out what's really going on. But let's talk about the issue of numeracy skills report. So there's an issue of learning loss, erased academic memory here. The prolonged closure of learning institutions that we are now learning is that, and other disruptions due to the coronavirus pandemic will heavily affect learners who continue to remain at home. A recent study by PAL Network, that's an education research organization, reveals that learners in lower grades could have forgotten everything that they had learned by the time they resume school. So according to the study, 1 out of 10 learners in class 8 cannot complete a simple mathematical task, which is a problem likely to worsen by the time schools reopen. Our reporter Makori Ongechi spoke to KICD chairperson, who also is the CEO of PAL Network, Dr. Sarah Ruto, and filed the following report.
The impact of the COVID-19 shock on the education system in the country will perhaps be felt even more the day 15 million learners in primary and secondary schools in the country step back in class again.
The theoretical framework, because
a recent study by People's Action for Learning Network reveals that by the time schools were closing down in March, every one pupil out of 10 in class 8 could not tackle and complete a simple mathematics question like 56 plus 17, which essentially is a numeracy task expected in class 2 or 3.
The findings in Mwala sub-county tell us that if you take children who are in grade 7 and 8, of every 10 children, one of them still does not have basic numeracy concepts. So this means that there are children who might complete the primary level without getting the basic numeracy concepts.
For those in grades 4, 5, and 6, 2 out of every 10 learners are unable to do the calculations. 4 out of 10 pupils in lower classes cannot complete the task.
Yeah, so this just shows you now.
Dr. Sarah says the situation will be worse due to the continued stay at home without formal learning, that it is possible the learners in grade 1 to 3 will have forgotten everything they have been learning.
When we think about this also in a COVID era, then for me as an educator, it makes me know that we need to ensure that we have tools such as this that will be able to also measure the learning loss children will have. Children have been out of formal learning, the way the teacher teaches them, since March. And for the children who are beginning to build their numeracy or beginning to learn how to read, the chances are very high they will lapse behind.
Some of the tasks in the assessment tool included determining the learner's ability on number knowledge, that is to check whether the learner is able to count and compare number of objects, recognize numbers, conduct operations without and with carryover, borrow, and reminder.
We need to have tools that will be able to tell us where are these children, how far is the lapse. Because when schools begin, we must connect with where the child is, not where we think we left them or where we think they ought to be, but where they are.
The study focused on Mwala sub-county in Machakos County, with Dr. Ruto saying the situation elsewhere could either be good or worse based on the literacy levels. The government suspended the education calendar for this year to step up measures against the spread of COVID-19. Makori Ongechi, Citizen TV.
So let's get back to the conversation that we mentioned earlier. Roy Sasaka, the CEO, National Youth Council, is joining us on phone from Tana River. Roy, good morning. It's good to have you with us. So it's the World Youth Skills Day today, and many youth are wondering, where is the government when it comes to their plea? They are unemployed, they are vulnerable, they are pushed to the wall. What opportunities are there from the National Youth Council's perspective?
Thank you, Trevor. We are here in Tana River, Trevor, and we also commemorating the World Skills Day here. And we are looking at how do we build a resilient youth through the available and what skills should we focus on. And Trevor, as I speak, when you look at the government, from the government perspective, we've focused more on actually equipping the youth with the skills, hands-on skills through achievement. And we're also pushing from the conventional skills that we used to focus on. And the focus is just to focus on giving youth the skills they need to actually create more, not to be employed, but to be an employer, or create to link directly to offering solutions. So, and then what we are discussing here, we are looking at how do we prepare youth, of course, to tap into the online job. And as the Ministry of Youth, we're focusing on getting the Ajira platform favor, so that the young people can also access jobs not only in the country but across the globe, and they can work at the comfort of their home favor.
And Roy, is there a way that all these interventions can be synchronized so that the youth know where to look for work? For example, we have Ajira, we have Kazi Mtaani, we have Youth Fund, we have Women Fund. Is there a way that they can all be consolidated so that the youth just know where to go and get help?
Yes, Trevor, we are trying that is very, very good. And I think what you're saying is, how do we make sure that the youth accesses information on the job they're looking at? And at the ministry, that is why we created the Ajira platform. The Ajira platform is actually to be a one-stop center of all the jobs available, and especially on the online. However, it is also for us as National Youth Council to ensure continuous sensitization of the youth in terms of where these jobs are, and making sure that we use all the available structures. Like for Kazi Mtaani, we're using the Ngao structure and also our youth champions on the ground to be aware of those opportunities available. So yes, there is need to centralize, but as much as we push for centralization, there is also need just to make sure that we push that information that the youth is able to get across from where they are.
Roy, what sorts of needs are you seeing in Tana River right now? Because somehow they replicate in other counties as well. The issues around the youth are the same in different places. So what are you seeing as the need in Tana River for the youth right now, and what is the plan for intervention?
At Tana River, Trevor, we are seeing, when you look at it and when you compare it to other counties, we are seeing that there is actually the poverty index is a bit worrying. And as you are actually following from our discussion, also the level of access to information is a bit challenging because of when you look at the access to the internet, the access to other basic social amenities. And I think as the government and as the county government, we have seen great efforts in terms of actually laying down the fiber optics and majorly actually coming up with cluster villages, which is a very innovative idea I've seen the county government push to actually make sure that the county comes up with cluster villages to ensure that each cluster village will have access to internet, access to fiber optics, access to the social amenities. And actually now for coming up with a long-term solution in actually preventing the issue of flood, which has actually been affecting the county at large. And we believe that with greater partnership, the youth at Tana River, who is the representative of the youth across the country, will benefit a greater deal. Because we believe once the youth is equipped with the skills and is equipped to actually access the facilities like internet and other basic facilities, then the youth is empowered to actually work and even work online and search for other jobs.
Okay.
So I believe as a county government, they have done so much in achieving this, and we are here to support them.
All right.
Why we are here as National Youth Council is actually to partner with the county government, and that's what we are doing in achieving our urban agenda. The governor calls it urban agenda.
Yeah. And
the urban agenda is just in pushing for the youth to access internet and basic facilities. That's why we partner with the National Youth Council to bring. We are talking with these youth international skills. We are talking about how do we empower the youth with menstrual hygiene knowledge? How do we empower the youth with the knowledge in terms of COVID-19, in terms of awareness? And how do we even equip them with the necessary PPEs to be able to be protected against the pandemic?
Okay.
And finally, we are also sharing the sexual responsibility information with them.
Yeah.
And we have gone ahead to even share sanitary towels with our youth.
All right.
And we understand that these are basic needs that the youth need. Yeah. And we believe that with greater partnerships, like the one we are having with Fresh Fruit we are going to impact the youth at the community level.
All right. Thanks, Roy. That's Roy Sasaka, CEO, National Youth Council, speaking to us live from Tana River on phone. They're out there to ensure that the youth are empowered.